In today's video, you will learn how to create a clock needle animation effect in PowerPoint 2010. This beautiful clock needle animation effect you see on the right here is what we are going to create today. So on a click, the needle comes in and the first point is introduced. Then the clock needle moves and the second point is introduced. The needle moves again and the third point appears and the needle goes off. That is our presentation. That is our effect that we are going to create today. So let's head on to a new document. And in this document, the first thing we are going to create is the clock needle. So move order to the insert menu and we select a form. In the basic form, I'm going to choose the isosceles triangle. Then I'm going to draw my triangle, an isosceles triangle, a beautiful isosceles triangle. I'm going to increase the size a bit. Okay, so, and I'm going to remove the border. I'm going to remove the borders. And now the effect, this clock handle has to move around, has to rotate as we progress from point to point. So let us try to rotate it and see what will happen. So when I rotate it, the clock is rotating at a point I don't want to. The clock is rotating here in the middle because the axis of rotation is found in the middle, but I want the axis of rotation to be found here. So I'm going to use a means to go about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this triangle by pressing Ctrl D. Then I will rotate it 180 degrees and move it down to the bottom of the first triangle. Now what I'm going to do with this second triangle that I have duplicated is that I'm going to remove the fill color as well as the border color. So I will grab the two of them and group them together. Okay, so if I try to rotate now, the rotation occurs where I really want to, and that is a very great step for us. This is one of the most difficult things we ought to do in this video. So now I'm going to add a circle at this point to show us where the clock is turning around. So I'll also remove the border color and I'll change the color to black. Okay, so I grab all of them and I still group them together and I pull it to the end of this. So I see the clock is big. I want to reduce it. The clock handle is big. Let me reduce it. Okay, then I pull it up to approximately in the middle here. Increase it a bit, reduce the border, reduce the width. Okay, so I turn it to stand where I want my first point, my first bullet point to be. So I want my first bullet point to be at an angle of 60 degrees. So I will go under the effects, under the format menu. I will click on this little arrow to expose other options. So here I'm seeing 58. I will round it up to 60 degrees and I press OK. Voila. So I am at exactly 60 degrees. So this is where my first point is going to occur. So I'm going to draw part of the clock, the part of the clock that we need to use. So under shapes, I'll take this arc tool and I'll press down my shift to make a perfect arc. Okay, I pull it to meet this clock handle. Okay, I can increase the size and readjust it. Voila. Now I don't just want an arc, I want it to continue. So I will click on this yellow point and pull it to this end, and I have a perfect arc. We can increase the size or the thickness of that our arc, and if we like, we can change the color to something a bit dark. Okay, so we are done with our clock handle and the part of the clock that we need for our presentation. So the next thing now is for us to create our bullet points. I will head over to the insert menu, and I will choose form, then I choose the oval shape, the eclipse. So I will draw a perfect square by maintaining my shift key down, then I adjust it to a point that I deem necessary. No. Okay, so I will remove the border color, and for the fill, let us take something that is this color. Yes, and now I'm going to put the number inside. So I will right click and choose modify to put a text. I'll put in 1, then I'll put it bold, and I'll put it to area black for it to be bold. Okay, so that's my first point. Now I also need a text to accompany this point, so I will select the text box and I will type your first point here. I'll adjust to be at the same level with this point. Okay, so okay, good. So now we can go on to animate this very first point. So what I do is I first of all select the clock handle. I go to under animations. I would like to activate the animation pane. So this one will have to just wipe in. That is the one. Wipe in is good. So it wipes in, then I add animation to this point. This point just needs to appear, and the text needs to wipe in, but this time it should wipe from the right. Okay, so if we try to play this one, let's see what will happen. Perfect. Now, so but I want this point, I want all of them to occur automatically when I click. So for this second animation, I'm going to click after previous. Then for this third one, I'm also going to click after previous. Okay, so when we play it, what will happen is that all of them will occur automatically. Now that is done for the first one, but now we need to estimate. I want to estimate where the second point can be. So it should be at 90, but what we're going to do is that I'm going to click at this clock handle, then I go to under the format menu. Take note, I'm using a French version, so there can be slight alterations with your own version. Then here I will put it at 90 to see where my position will be. Okay, my position is here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to draw a line, so that will help me when I'm positioning my bullet point. I'll also add here I'm going to add 30. It will be 120. Then I'll also see where it is. Then I also draw another line. This one is just to help me not to go front and back, just to continue rapidly. Just slide down. Okay, now with this I go back and I restate the 60 degrees that was there. Ooh, 660 degrees. Okay, now I can close this box and continue. Okay, so this is where I expect the next point to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to enter it physically. I'm just going to copy all of this. But before copying, let me add animation. So under the animation pane, I don't just go and choose an animation, but I first of all come to add animation. When it comes to add animation, this time around I want to take rotate. I want this clock to rotate, so I will come to rotate. Okay, voila, it's rotating. Okay, then this one should occur on click. I will maintain it there, and under the animation pane I want to adjust this animation, because you see when it goes round the clock, but I don't want it to go there. I just want it to move 30 degrees from up here so that I can meet the 90 degrees bullet point that I'm going to introduce. So under this I will go to options, effect options. Then under effect options I will choose this, and under customize, to put the angle I will put 30 degrees. So I need it to move plus 30 degrees. Okay, and I want it to be a bit rapid. I will reduce it to 0.05 seconds. Then I will copy these two. I press down my control key and I move it down. Then in this box I'm going to put but the second box. So let's play and see what we have got up to now. That is it. Perfect. Now I still add another animation to this clock handle by going to add animation, and I will still take rotate. In this case I will also come here and adjust the effect options. Instead of 360 degrees I want it to be plus 30 equally. So that is it. Okay, then I also copy all of this and I paste. I control and drag to reach down. So I also change what is inside this bullet point to be 3. Okay, so when I play, okay, I also need to change the clock speed, the speed of the clock handle for this third animation. So I go and I select 0.50. Okay, so I also have to remove all these lines that were serving as a guide for me. Now we are ready. I can try to centralize. No, let me try to centralize all of our work for some perfection. Okay, now I want us to watch to witness the slide show. I go to slideshow, begin. So when I click, the first point appears, I click, the second point appears, and I click, the third point appears. So that is our video, guys. I hope it helped you. If you have any problems, on the comment below you can ask your questions and your questions will be answered. Thank you very much.